Hey y'all, good morning. It's Sunday morning, February 26th, and it is 65 degrees out here. We've got kind of a mist, I can see it coming down, just a little misty. It's a misty morning, and it feels great out here. Um, I am wearing my grandmother's hat that she painted, and I don't know if I ever told y'all this, but I wore it and I realized it looked a little dusty, and I washed it off, and look how bright it is. So it's still very vibrant, so I'm enjoying wearing it. She painted this probably in the 80s, and I don't know if she ever wore it as a gardening hat. It was probably more of a decorative kind of thing, but I'm very thankful to have it and have a little bit of her with me in the garden. But I've been rearranging things, so let me show you what I've been doing. Oh, wait, you know what? I got to tell y'all, I'm gardening for butterflies and for myself on the Alabama Gulf Coast in Zone 9A. Want to get that out there. I wish I could share with you the scent in the air because it's just heavenly. The all the citrus has blossoms on it, and they smell just incredible. It's just such a beautiful scent, and it's wafting all around. We have we have citrus in the backyard. Some of our neighbors have some in the front, so our whole house is just wrapped in this glorious scent. And we've got some birdies singing. They were probably the doves are going to be a little bit angry with me when I start to walk around the corner here. But I have put my 2 new roses out here. I'm going to slowly build more color and beauty right here. I've got a lot of things growing in, so I'm kind of waiting a little bit on that. But I've moved a lot of my stuff out of the potting shed. And there are actual buds on these roses, which I'm really excited about because this is that Queen of Sweden. Let's see if I can get in here and show you. Look, there's a bud. Oh my gosh. So that's exciting. My James Galway rose bloomed this week, and so did the Generous Gardener. And I think I've got some close-ups of that I'm going to show you later. But here's the James Galway looking so gorgeous. Just one bloom. But isn't it just, oh, I love it so much. Okay, so since I don't have a pretty bench yet, I decided to bring out the that Wicked Witch Coleus and the sedum, and I put them down at the end of this path with a bird bath just to kind of delineate the space slightly. So that's what I did there. That's it's not, it's just kind of a stopgap. And also I am going to put stones down this path also to make it look less like a dirt patch, because that's kind of what's happening right now. But aren't you loving these colors together? One of my favorite views. I'm going to stop this so I can get over there. I especially love this view when the sun is shining behind it and it's from like the kitchen window. I like seeing this pink and blue right here of the pentas and the Blew My Mind morning glories, and then the silver of the Dusty Miller along with the coral nymph salvia, and then with the salvia, let's get ready, in the back. It just looks so lovely. This is not doing it justice, not at all. I wish that you could see it when the light shines in. It's usually, I guess it's around 1 o'clock when it looks so fabulous. Look at the glorious creaminess of this Desdemona rose just popping out. I am about to have, if they all open at the same time, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's one down here. And oh, just such beauty. I can hardly stand it. So I'm working on this perennial border, and I've got some big pots that I'm going to kind of line up the backside here. I do, you know, I've said very often that I wanted a hedge of salvia, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a hedge of salvia at the back of this border right here. And I think I'm going to, maybe I'll have about 6 large pots of salvia and let them grow as big as they want to grow. I want to talk about this really quick. This is that blew my mind morning glory. And yeah, they call it morning glory, but really it blooms all day long. It's not just in the morning. And it's so, you know, they have it for sale at Lowe's and Home Depot. You can get it anywhere for probably a little pot for like, it's probably going to be $5 now. But it's so cheerful, and it loves to live here on the Gulf Coast. And I would recommend it to anyone because it just brings, there's so much color. So much color with it. And it just really pops in the garden. I appreciate that plant very much because you can depend on it. You can depend on it to keep going and going and going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. This summer romance rose is so beautiful with its fresh growth, and it's got buds on it. It does have a little bit of black spot, which is kind of making me sad, but I used Joe's, from Joe's Texas Garden, her technique for clipping it, and it's working out fabulously. The shape of it is really coming into its own, I think. I got the fountain out and decided to put it in front of the guest bedroom window, and I kind of built this little bit of a oasis from all the plants that were in the potting shed that were still in there. So it was kind of a hodgepodge. It's kind of looking a little just kind of, oh, I even brought the kale over. I wanted to see it, and this is the fabulous kale in the small pot. So I brought all these here. I'm going to probably rearrange it, especially since I don't know how tall some of this stuff is going to get, because look, okay, so one of my carrots is very, very close to blooming. So there it is. I am thrilled with that. That's going to be cool. So that's pretty tall, and I've got a bunch of carrots that I have planted in a bunch of these pots. So far, the raccoons have left them alone. They haven't realized that there's tasty snacks under there, and I hope that they won't. But yesterday, when I came home from work, I found a box from Eden Brothers, and it was the dahlias that I had ordered way back in June. And I guess I missed the email that warned me that they were coming. So I had to scramble and grab some pots, and I potted them up last night. I'm just going to show you. I have some over here. I put cayenne pepper on top to keep the raccoons out, and hopefully that'll continue. They also said when planting them they said to plant them 2 inches below the soil, and then once they come up, to put some more soil over them to help them strengthen their stems or something like that. So that's why there's not as much dirt in there as I would usually use. I hope that that's correct, because I've only had dahlias one other time, and I don't know if I actually planted them correctly. And then I have another couple of pots over here of dahlias. They need full sun, so I'm going to let them come up over here. This area right here gets a lot of sun, and then once they come up, I'm going to intersperse them throughout the garden at my leisure. A close-up of these glorious, glorious orange blossoms. This is my Cara orange in the pot, and they're not even really that pretty, but wow, y'all, the scent of it is incredible. I can't stress that enough. And one sweet spirit rose just popping out right here over the fountain. I'm going to plant some hyacinth bean vine seeds back here along the back fence because they really filled in well for the most part last year, and then just every day just expect them to grow and grow, because this is a mess. This is where I've got to really fill in. I don't want to see into their backyard, and I don't want them seeing into mine. They're not there. I don't know what they're doing with that house. But I found something cool that I wanted to show y'all. So this is Dutchman's pipe vine. And when I found it just growing straight up out of the yard, I brought this little trellis over here and wrapped it around it. And I hope that I can keep it kind of contained on this trellis, because this is the thing that pipevine swallowtail, this is their larval host plant. So that's very exciting. And apparently this stuff spreads, because I'm going to show you where I originally planted the pipevine swallowtail. So you can see, here it is right here. There's a little spot of it right there. And then where I originally planted it was over here where these sad hydrangeas are that I've got to do something with. But now I can't, because this is the original place that I planted the Dutchman's pipevine. And this thing, what's funny about this thing, they are really resilient, because I was yanking stuff out of here and I accidentally yanked this up, and I thought, you know what, I don't actually know what that is. So I yanked it out of the ground, and then I put it back down in the ground and patted it down, and look, it has survived. Dutchman's pipevine is actually a lot more resilient than I ever supposed, which thank God for it, because I want those butterflies. So there it is. Isn't it pretty with its pretty little leaf? And remember that Spanish moss that I just kind of got off of the tree and put it over here on the fence? Well, it is alive. Look at that green. It's still making it. And I haven't attempted to put any more on this fence, but I need to. Whenever I find some falling on the ground, I'm going to start stringing it on this fence, because it is an interesting plant. This is the view from the end of the border. So you can see I got a lot of work to do. I don't want to be able to see white buckets, and those white buckets will not be there. But I have so many brown patches that need to be filled in. But I keep reminding myself, this is only the end of February. I know it's going to get better. I had to review some of my old videos to see, how far it comes, because right now it just seems like there's a lot of brown out there, y'all. It's just kind of, now I understand the purpose of grass. Remember that dead looking vine that just had one pathetic little leaf on it last week? I think it was just last week. Look at it popping out. This is that Dutchman's pipe vine. I gotta find, maybe I'm even gonna buy a special pot for it, because I want it to always live forever. Oh, and something else cool. Okay, see this grass? This is that blue-eyed grass, and it's got some little blooms on it. Let's see if I can get in there so you can see it. So, oh, I guess they pop out during the day, but it's got little flowers. This is native. Wait, maybe I can show you this one. Oh, see there? And hopefully it'll have it all over. But isn't that exciting that it's got this pretty spiky loveliness, and then you get flowers. The fennel's doing well, and the kale is looking pretty good. The rosemary's doing pretty well. I had to sacrifice one of my kale pots for the dahlias, and I saved the stuff out of it. I'll show you what I did with it. Here's that pitiful little kale I just chunked in this little pot, and I didn't even water it. I'm thankful that it's alive, because I was just in a hurry, and I just took the rosemary that was in there and threw them in here, and they made it through the night. These pots are the things that I'm probably going to be dealing with today. You can see there's some stuff that's still alive. In fact, I think this grass, it's fountain grass. Look, it's still alive too, but I'm gonna have to dig it out and do something with it. But the creeping Jenny, I want to save everything that's alive in these pots, but I'm gonna take it all out And then I'm going to put salvia in them and line them up along the back of that border, because these are those big pots. I think these pots are like 20 inches across. I'm hoping that the bog garden isn't becoming too boggy with the amount of water that's being spat out by this little thing right here. You can see it's shooting it out, and now it's a continual little bit of a wet land right here. So much so that it's getting kind of like green and scummy looking. I want to get in close on this. This is a plant that I planted on purpose, and I don't know what it is. My friend Carol, poor thing, she's so sweet, because I just ask her over and over again, and what is this? And what was that? And I do write it down, but then I lose where I wrote it, and that's very disturbing. Oh, another thing. Look how desperately this wants to bloom. It's got another one. So I'm going to have to pop that one off too, because we don't want Venus flytrap flowers. I'm going to pop it off right now so you can see. There we go. See, popped it off. No more of that. We just want you catching flies. We don't need to see that. No one wants to see that. Can you hear the seagulls? Maybe not, maybe they're too far away. But so this is the awkward backside of the border now. And so more things that I have to work on, because I've got a lot of hydrangeas in here that I had planted all around in a circle, kind of around the outside edge of the lemon tree, and now it's kind of a lumpy mess, and I'm gonna have to move them. There's a lot of work to do now, because I gotta move these hydrangeas, I gotta find a place to put them, and then I'm going to kind of level this area right here behind the border so that I can have salvias and kind of reasonable intervals, and have them be at the same height and not like about to tip over. So, but oh, is that carpet of violets not just the most lovely? Look at that. I'm loving it, y'all. I don't mind it. They don't bother me. And the other thing is, you know, they are a larval host plant for some kind of butterfly, which I know I've told y'all before, but I always forget what they are, and I have to look it up again. They say that wild violets are larval host plants for great spangled fritillaries and a bunch of other lesser fritillaries. I've never seen them being, I've never seen caterpillars on them, but of course I don't ever come out here with my readers on. I should wear my readers, but yeah, that's super exciting, because if that's the case, then I should have a jillion of those in here soon. Talking about my readers reminded me to show you this. So this is the bubblegum supertunia that made it through the winter, and it's re-flowering. Now, something that I have discovered, because I had my readers on and I could see more clearly, it was being eaten, and it might still be eaten. I was going to see if I could find some for you. I think what I might have in the garden right now are a bunch of army worm caterpillars. I hate their guts, and I've been smushing some, and I did take a little video earlier this week of it, and I didn't have my microphone on, so I don't know if you would be able to hear me in the video, but I found a couple of them and I squished them, and I'm going to see if I can find some so I can show you what they look like. Okay, I have found a tiny one for you to see. All right, so this is the kind of damage that you kind of see on a leaf, and when you turn it over, let's see, there, see that tiny little worm right there? Oh my gosh, I hate its guts. Well, I'm about to squish it, and I'm guessing that it's an armyworm caterpillar, but I'm not sure, but it's got to die. Right now I've got one little bloom on the plumbago. I was going to tell y'all something about plumbago So people who don't garden but just, hire landscapers and have them come and plant stuff in their yard down here, they have plumbago, and it gets crazy big and blooms prolifically and looks fabulous. Must be very easy to care for. Well, I've got this one in this pot, but I really like the blue, and it's so fun to have the colors mixed, with everything else. So I would really recommend it if you wanted something big and easy to grow for down here. Here's that glorious Desdemona. Just, y'all, I can't even. I just wish I could just stand here and stare at it all day long, because it just is so enjoyable. And the sun's coming out just a little bit through the misty morning. It's going to be glorious out here. Just a glorious day. I love all these colors together. I'm never going to get enough of them. I wish I could see everything at one time, all the time. This is also a glorious mixture of colors that I'm adoring, and was an accident because I didn't know this thing was going to grow back. This thing, it's got the flowers, I don't know if it even shows. They do have a slight blue cast to them, but I think they probably show up more white in videos. But that is some kind of native plant that, of course, I do not know the name of it now. But I'm so thankful that it grew back. And maybe it's supposed to be some kind of bush. That might be why I put it in the middle of this really, really big pot. So we'll see how far it grows. I think I need to write an ode to Desdemona. Okay, also I need to admit something to y'all. I think I've said it before, you can't kill a rose, but guess what? I did. And here was where Sweet Afton was, and now it looks like I have kind of like a gravestone for Sweet Afton, because this is where Sweet Afton did breathe her last. The zinnia seedlings are going crazy. I guess I'm gonna need to put them somewhere else, because that's a little big. But I've got one or two like seedlings of almost everything. Oh, I didn't realize where I've put these. These leaves are gonna be falling on it. That's not a good thing. So I'm gonna need to move this. But down here on the Gulf Coast, our oak trees lose their leaves in the spring. I know that might seem weird, but yeah, that's how it works. So we're about to get a bunch of leaves falling. Oh, I have one rue, maybe two, but there it is. That's rue. Very thrilled about that. So rue is a larval host plant for some kind of butterfly that I don't recall right now. See this little caterpillar right here? Oh wow, it's pooping. This is bad, and I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it could be an armyworm caterpillar. I don't know, but I found quite a few of them, and I'm going to squish it. Thank y'all so much for coming with me to look in my garden today. It's getting closer and closer. I did see that last year here we had a freeze March 15th. So I'm just praying that that won't happen, because I sure don't want to drag this stuff all back into the potting shed again. I just don't want to do it. But I know the weather has just been so crazy all across the country. People getting snow that's never seen it before. It's been pretty wild. But I hope that y'all have been safe and warm. are safe and cool, whichever one that y'all are, area that you're in. But God bless y'all. I hope y'all have a great week, and I can't wait to find out what's happening in your gardens because it's just getting better and better. See y'all later. Bye.